Rabbis. The title rabbi is equivalent to our distinctive appellations doctor, master, or teacher. By derivation, it means master or my master, thus connoting dignity and rank associated with politeness of address. A definite explanation of the term is given by John, and the same meaning attaches by implication to its use as recorded by Matthew. It was applied as a title of respect to Jesus on several occasions. The title was of comparatively recent usage in the time of Christ, as it appears to have first come into general use during the reign of Herod the Great. Though the earlier teachers of the class without the name of rabbis were generally reverenced, and the title was carried back to them by later usage. Rab was an inferior title, and Rabban a superior one to rabbi. Rabbani was expressive of most profound respect, love, and honor. At the time of our Lord's ministry, the rabbis were held in high esteem and rejoiced in the afflations of precedence and honor among men. They were almost exclusively of the powerful Pharisaic party. The following is from Geeky's Life and Words of Christ, Volume 1, Chapter 6. If the most important figures in the society of Christ's day were the Pharisees, it was because they were the rabbis or teachers of the law. As such, they received superstitious honor, which was indeed the great motive with many to court the title or join the party. The rabbis were classed with Moses, the patriarchs, and the prophets, and claimed equal reverence. Jacob and Joseph were both said to have been rabbis. The Targum of Jonathan substitutes rabbis or scribes for the word prophets when it occurs. Josephus speaks of the prophets of Saul's day as rabbis. In the Jerusalem Targum, all the patriarchs are learned rabbis. They were to be dearer to Israel than father or mother, because parents avail only in this world, as was then taught, but the rabbi forever. They were set above kings, for is it not written, "Through me kings reign"? Their entrance into a house brought a blessing. To live or eat with them was the highest good fortune. The rabbis went even further than this in exalting their order. The Mishnah declares that it is a greater crime to speak anything to their discredit than to speak against the word of the law. Yet in form the law received boundless honor. Every saying of the rabbis had to be based on some words of it, which were, however, explained in their own way. The spirit of the times, the wild fanaticism of the people, and their own bias tended alike to make them set value only on ceremonies and worthless externalisms, to the utter neglect of the spirit of the sacred writings. Still, it was held that the law needed no confirmation, while the words of the rabbis did. So far as the Roman authority under which they lived left them free, the Jews willingly put all power in the hands of the rabbis. They, or their nominees, filled every office, from the highest in the priesthood to the lowest in the community. They were the casuists, the teachers, the priests, the judges, the magistrates, and the physicians of the nation. The central and dominant characteristic of the teaching of the rabbis was the certain advent of a great national deliverer, the Messiah, or anointed of God, or in the Greek translation of the title, the Christ. In no other nation than the Jews has such a conception ever taken such root or shown such vitality. It was agreed among the rabbis that his birthplace must be Bethlehem, and that he must rise from the tribe of Judah. Individual rabbis gathered disciples about them, and inevitably rivalry became manifest. Rabbinical schools and academies were established, each depending for its popularity on the greatness of some rabbi. The most famous of these institutions in the time of Herod I were the school of Hillel and that of his rival, Shammai. Later, tradition invested these with the title, the Fathers of Old. It appears from the trifling matters over which the followers of these two disagreed, that only by opposition could either maintain a distinguishing status. Hillel is reputed as the grandfather of Gamaliel, the rabbi and doctor of the law at whose feet Saul of Tarsus, afterward Paul the Apostle, received his early instruction. So far as we have historic record of the views, principles, or beliefs advocated by the rival schools of Hillel and Shammai, it appears that the former stood for a greater degree of liberality and tolerance, while the latter emphasized a strict and possibly narrow interpretation of the law and its associated traditions. The dependence of the rabbinical schools on the authority of tradition is illustrated by an incident of record to the effect that even the prestige of the great Hillel did not insure him against uproar when once he spoke without citing precedent. Only when he added that so had his masters, Abtalion and Shemaiah, spoken, did the tumult subside.